Την Imany την έχουμε στην άλλη άκρη της τηλεφωνικής μας γραμμής. Βρίσκεται στο δρόμο στο Παρίσι. Imany, thank you very much on behalf of Kosmos 93.6 having this conversation a week before your live appearance in Athens in Christmas Theater. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Voodoo, we are playing now, we are listening to Like a Prayer, the Madonna's song, and the cover of yours, of Voodoo Cello, the 13-track album covering iconic pop songs from Madonna to Ed Sheeran to Radiohead. Can you tell us in a brief outline how come and what was the idea behind the album?
Well, the whole album was to celebrate very important songs for me, whether they were important when I was a kid or, they touched me in a particular way as an adult. This album, I always wanted to do a cover album. Everybody that knows me know that I always did covers, live. And I always wanted to work with the cello as well because I have a love story with the cello. I feel like I was a cello in another life, and... really, it was about trying to heal myself after such a long tours. I got like two very long tours, two albums, and two children. I gave birth to two babies back to back, and I never stopped for like
that's great.
12 years. So it was a way to heal myself.
And I think it's the first time that artist covers pop songs only with cello. But I know that you are studying piano and guitar. But can you tell me about the title of the album, Voodoo Cello? It reminds me of the Voodoo Child from Jimi Hendrix song.
Yeah, you're good. That's why. That was the little the little wink. I feel like the cello, everything that you hear on the album and everything that you hear on stage, the sound come from the cello. There is no tricks, no electronics. Everything is organic. Everything is acoustic. But it's just that it's so amazing how versatile the cello sounds. And it sounds sometimes like an electric guitar. It sounds like people singing. It's just amazing. And so it made me feel like there was like a spirit trapped inside of that instrument, and when I was started to write the show, I was like, I need to find something that has to do with magic and spirit and mystical. And so Voodoo came, and then Voodoo Cello sounded like Voodoo Child, so I took it as a good sign, and I went with it because I'm a fan of Jimi Hendrix too.
You listen to the music of Jimi Hendrix when you're a kid, when you were young, for example?
No, I discovered Jimi Hendrix as an adult. My parents, they were not listening to particular music. They were just listening to the radio. But I got to do my musical culture as an adult. So it's actually pretty good to discover Jimi Hendrix when you're like 25, 28. That's what happened to me.
It is difficult to collaborate in the studio only with strings, with 8 instruments, or specifically with the cellos.
Well, it was complicated, and at the same time, the fact that it was the difficulty made it easy. I don't know if you can understand what I mean, because I had I knew I want the song to be able to be played by 8 cellos, but no more. It's easy to do more and more and more and more, but I wanted the disc to sound exactly the same on stage. So it was difficult because it's hard to make 8 instruments that have the same vibration sound differently. That was the hardest thing, but because I didn't know anything about the cello, I think that's what protected me, because I went with no preconceived ideas. So every time someone was saying, "Oh no, you can't do that with the cello, Imany," I'll be like, "Why?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, because that's how it is." I'm like, "Well, that's not a good enough reason." So I would try things that I think cello players would not try because they were raised differently, and that's why it made the project so special, because I had no idea. When you don't know it's impossible, you make it possible.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I know when we are talking about possible and impossible, you've been a model first. You've been to New York City, but you decided to follow your dream to be a singer, and you went back to Europe. And it was very interesting. You said once before that everything changed after 9/11 when the market crashed and the top models keep their job, but not for the other models. So it was a twist of faith after you involved with singing and artistic in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I think that live always works in your favor. I understand now that I'm 44. I understand that now. Back then, I thought it was unfair, and I was worried about my future. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be anxious about my future, nonetheless. So I might as well, put all my energy into what I wanted to do in my dreams, even though I knew it was risky. But life is risky, I guess. I don't think anything is safe. But now that I'm older, I do believe that life works in your favor. So even though sometimes it looks like it's painful, sometimes it looks like you're losing everything and you're never going to be able to get over the pain you're going through. Well, it's for your own good. And so I guess I'm a product of that.
Good. Okay, nothing is for granted, I know that, but could you imagine yourself today as a top model rather than a singer after all these years? Do you imagine yourself, you don't regret your decision and to turn you made in your career?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't think you can be a 44-year-old supermodel except if you're Naomi Campbell, because by the time you're like 30, you're not a model anymore, you're already too old. Whereas I could be an 85-year-old singer,
Yeah. but
so I think it's a better bet.
But you are very, very popular. When You Will Never Know song became very popular all over Greece, even in Poland. And I remember when I play the song on the radio, every hour the audiences ask me, when I'm going to play on the radio, You Will Never Know. And it was fantastic. So how did you react after the success and the impact that the song had on the public?
Well, the first time I came to Greece, I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Because, and it was a different time. It was like 12 or 13 years ago now. And I went to Greece because everybody was telling me, your song has been #1 for 100 days over there, every radio station. I'm like, oh, really? I just didn't know. I didn't realize what it meant. It's only when I went there and people were stopping me in the streets and asking for my name and autographs. And I was like, wait a second, what? And, last spring, I went to Greece for the first time on vacation and not for work. And I was in a taxi. And my friend, who's American, started to ask the driver if he knew, the song You Will Never Know.
Yeah.
And he turned around and he looked at us. He didn't know I was the singer, right? He looked at us and he said, my grandmother knows the song You Will Never Know.
So you must move here in Greece again.
I think I should.
Not in Paris. How is Paris today?
Paris, right now, the weather, it looks like it's the spring. It's so weird. It's so like we don't have any jackets on. It's pretty... yesterday I was performing at La Scène Musicale, so I'm a little bit tired. I performed in front of 4,000 people, and it was incredible. But Paris right now is it's complicated. Politically, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
So, but, I guess it's everywhere the same.
I want to ask you 1 million questions, but I know that you're on the street and we want to thank you very much. But I will ask you one more thing. Imany means faith in Swahili. And as an activist, a well-known artist in the field of music, you convey messages all over the world. What is the most important message you want to pass it on the world today?
I think as I get older, the biggest message I think we should all convey is that we are all part of the same. We are all one in a way. We are all one, even though we are different. And we are the diversity of this world, but at the end, we are all one. And I think that's what music got me to understand that, you speak Greek, I speak French, I sing in English, but so somehow a grandmother in Greece can sing my song and be touched, that means that music is a universal language, and that's the proof that we are all one. And so if we understand that once, we let people starve, we let people die, then we're actually killing ourselves, then I think we're going to resolve a lot of problems. We have to understand that the person in front of me is maybe different, but at the same time, that person is exactly like me.
Yes, you know why? Because music is our passport, opens all the borders, you know that.
Exactly. You don't need to understand the lyrics, you don't need to be educated, you don't need to, you don't need to be rich or beautiful to be touched by music. So that means that we have a universal bond as human beings, and therefore, if you let some people starve on the other side of the world, or you let, kids getting killed in the middle of a war, then you're actually killing yourself.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. It doesn't happen to other people, it happens to you too.
Imany, I would like to thank you very much. Next week we will see you in Athens, and everyone is looking forward to listen to your songs. Everybody is so excited. You know the reaction of the Greek audience every time you visit in Greece. So we're looking forward next week to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice night. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.